Casey, what do you got?
Well, I tell you what, we started at Verizon and ended up talking about what we did there. That's what makes the show great.
I love it.
So I did a quick change because I wanted to talk about the Winter Wonderland. That, Dave, I'm not gonna lie, you're taking some heat in the streets because you wished for this shit.
And I've been real open and honest to people about it. It's my fault, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't regret it. The boys had an awesome winter.
Winter storm of Dave because he wanted it and he got it. But I wanted to talk about the old slips and falls on the ice and snow because they are back in full force.
God.
And some of them now with the advent of Ring and Blink and all these other camera systems, like people catch them in live happening. And I had a memorable moment back in college, and then one, it was last week. We played euchre down at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking out.
Oh, no.
Usually real careful.
Did you
about
eat shit in my driveway?
No, not your driveway. So I was up on
no.
mine, and my phone dinged, and I looked down to get it. And then next thing you know, it was just like Mother Nature cut my legs out. And I was
Oh, no.
like, so
Why am I just now learning of this?
because it's a topic. So, and it was no big deal. And I actually was traveling in my boots.
Oh, yeah, you did. He brought his
switched
own
out of boots.
he brought his
my
own shop
truck.
shoes.
Yeah, and so I love them. Like if people don't get hurt. Now, if somebody gets seriously hurt, a lot of people
I broke
get
my
hurt.
collarbone.
Yeah,
Laser tag, man.
It's not slipping on ice or
Yeah,
snow.
it was. Slipped on ice playing laser tag.
Oh, like not in like a laser tag facility.
No, hell no. It's right out just down the street from my mom and dad's house. I
But-
broke my collarbone.
But these ones that people post, like where their significant others eat it,
It's hilarious.
it is
I
hilarious.
could watch them for hours.
And now that TikTok's
Or when the
back,
big ladies. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
Thank
big-
God. Thank God TikTok's
Big
back.
ladies.
Thank
When
you,
they take
President
up that
Trump.
whole rail,
Thank you, President Trump, for getting TikTok back.
I'm telling you, that's what the message said.
I know it did. I
Yeah,
read the
that's what it
same
is.
one. But the big ladies that are walking out of their house and they don't make it 2 strides and eat shit down the steps and
Well, what do you expect when you're wearing house slippers?
oh god.
well, that's
I love
tough.
it.
That brings up another point.
Ice
Hey,
slips,
dudes and Crocs are not meant for this kind of weather.
ice slips, trips and falls, and golf cart wrecks are 2 of my most favorite things to watch.
Yeah, some of those golf cart wrecks though
Are
like
gnarly.
yeah, just lucky nobody dies. But I had and maybe you guys had one that you recall, but I had one in college where this is where I firmly believed in karma. And it was when that big snow and ice storm came through, probably 2007, 8, 9,
Yeah.
in that range. And our driveway at the house down there at school was just a sheet of ice. And we were on the front porch, and I remember watching some guy eat shit. And I just freaking, of course, they got up, and I just started, calling from the 5th row about, from the ropes, making fun of them. And it wasn't about the same time, like in the driveway where we were talking, and I had a full just ate it.
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, karma got me big time there. But I love them, especially when you get the audio, because when those people fall. Yeah,
And they always fart and stuff.
I don't understand that.
So I worked, it was
None of the ice talk brought it up, but the farting while falling
it's great.
kicked off a whole other story.
Yeah.
We stripped out at Francisco in like November-ish, Thanksgiving-ish, I guess, is about whenever we got done. I transferred to the Viking mine, which is up in Montgomery-ish area, out in the middle of nowhere, Alfordsville, and it was shortly after I'd gotten up there. It was like December time. And it was one of those I had transferred up there as a truck driver because we basically, Francisco was shutting down, even though we were all operators for 2 or 3 years. By the time they'd shut down, there was so many people that were going to be dispersed within the company, you couldn't really pick and choose where you were going to go.
You just-
like these other mines, we lined up in the parking lot, and the HR guy came back there with a big list.
Oh boy.
And you just walked up to the side of his pickup, and he said, Zach Masner, night shift end dump driver, Viking mine. Okay, that's where I'm going. So like I didn't really have any choice. This is where we went. And the trucks at the mine, they always parked in a parking ditch, which, just a grader would go through there and cut a big old swell in the ground, and you'd run your front wheels in there, and that's where you park. Well, obviously it would fill up with diesel fuel and water and rain and, hydraulic oil, blah, 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 because all these trucks are sitting there parked, and it would freeze over.
Yeah.
And I had gotten out for lunch because we'd always get out the trucks at lunch and go sit on the school bus that had a heater in it, because we would ride school buses. We would park in the parking lot, go in the Jack Shack for our
the what now?
The Jack Shack, they called it. It was just like a little shed that had our time clock and bulletin board, and that's where we would go in there and get our instructions for the day, like what you were going to do, what equipment you were running, like what our accomplishments, all our accomplishments for the day. Because if it was raining, you didn't want to just stand in the parking lot. You'd have to go in the shed and figure out what's going on, because you didn't want to stand out in the rain. Got off the bus for lunch, was going back around. You never pissed in the parking ditch. Like don't piss in the ditch. You go piss behind the truck, because the mechanics and greasers and everything are walking through the ditch. It's just something you don't do. I was walking back from the back of my truck to go climb up the ladder, and I stepped what I thought was going to be across the ditch.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite make it, and did like the splits.
Oh, those are the worst.
And it was one of those like, oh, goddamn, I think I've either broke my back or my legs broke. But I don't want to tell nobody, because I don't know anybody that's working here yet. Like, I've literally only been here like 3 days, and I think I've just broke my back on the job. So I had to get up, and that one was probably really bad. But the laser tag incident, that was like a documented trip to the hospital.
How old were you when this happened?
7th grade. Yeah, because it ended my wrestling career. Because we were balls deep in wrestling season when that was happening, and there was just it was snowing, and we were dark. It was me and my buddy Ian, and I don't remember, might have been a neighborhood kid or two else. We were all playing, and we all had like a 4-pack of like laser tag things, and I was running from getting shot at, the pew, 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 and you had this chest thing on your chest, thing on your back. And there was a field here, a driveway, and then Ian's big yard. And I was running from the field back into his yard. And I went to like hurdle the driveway, like run across it.
That's tough.
Yeah. And there was like a frozen water puddle that was right there. And I hit that baby and, well, bam, broke my collarbone.